Hi, my name is Zuko, and welcome back or welcome to my channel, Art. So we're gonna go on ahead and continue my HardLore series on part 2. Now, if you have not watched part 1 yet, I do suggest you go over and do that, because this video is not gonna make a lot of sense if you don't. But I mean, you do you, boo. If you wanna Star Wars this baby, you do you. So I am now officially level 15, so I can do my class specific quest, but first of all, I want to go do this Legion event, and then we can go over and do that. Now, the last time we spoke, Aldous and Lilia had just spoken in the cell. Sorenthia and Achilleos was in town, seeing the Inquisitors coming into town, and Mainland was on his way to Serum. Just to clarify, Alduisin and Mainland actually live on a farm just outside of Serum. So Mainland was on his way back to town to go see if his brother was okay. So, Sorenthia and Achilleos, they are seeing the Inquisitors come into town, to which the Inquisitors stop right in front of them, and what appears to be the Master Inquisitor introduces himself as Mycleus. "Where is my brother? Our fallen brother?" Achilleus tries to convince him that they should maybe call the chieftain so he can address them, to which Mycleus said, "No, you are the ones who welcomed us. You should show us where our brother is. We can return back and join up with the chieftain afterwards." Achilleus eventually agreed, and he said, "No, it's fine. I'll take you to your fallen brother. However, he has been dead for a while, so your brother, as well as the guy from the Temple of the Triune, had to be buried. So I'll take you to their grave." Sorenthia was still standing there, and she wanted to go and warn Alduisin that the Inquisitor was there, but she also wanted to go with Mycleus and Achilleus to kind of see what they were saying and get a feel of what might be the outcome if they were to stand trial. Achilleus takes them to the grave, to which Mycleus gets down on his knee and investigates the grave. He puts his hand down on the soil and does what seems to be like a prayer to his brother, to which he suddenly jerks away his hand and he says, "What is this sacrilege?" Confused, the rest of the people stand around and look at him. He calls Achilleus over and he says, "You look like a huntsman." He says, "Yes, that I am." Mycleus said, "Okay, I want you to look at this grave and tell me what you think." Achilleus gets down and he puts his hand over the grave and he too jerks away his hand. "You too feel it," Mycleus tells him. Achilleus says, "Perhaps a small animal, your holiness." Mycleus said, "This was done by no animal. Someone had desecrated our brother's grave. Alduisin had an accomplice." So he's very angry about this whole situation, and he feels like Alduisin is definitely guilty and he has an accomplice. I lost my train of thought. Alright, so they return back to town. They are eager to start the trial. The chieftain goes to Alduisin, to where Lilia had already left, and tells him to turn around so he can secure his wrists, and they need to leave for questioning. He does that, and they leave the guards building, to which they see the Inquisitors in town, as well as a few people surrounding town, seeming to be very curious of what's going to happen now to Alduisin. Some of them look supportive and sincere, as if though they are rooting for Alduisin. Some of them looks at him as if though he's this creature, this monster, this murderer. And the Inquisitor looks at the chieftain and he says, "Listen, can we have the questioning in your quarters? I am so sorry for the inconvenience, but these things does happen and it calls for a proper interrogation." The chieftain agrees, it's not a problem for them, and the Inquisitor starts yelling towards the crowd, "We know that there is an accomplice and we need you to come forward, otherwise there's gonna be more dire consequences if we have to find out who you are." Nobody comes forth, obviously, and Alduisin also doesn't say anything. However, he does see Lilia in the crowd and can't stop himself from making eye contact with her. He kind of jerks his head towards her way. Unfortunately, in that same sense, Michaelis saw that and he also looks over towards that way and he sees Lilia. You! Ugh, that eye. You are his accomplice. Now, before he even got a chance to finish his words, the clouds above them started rumbling in a horrible way to such a point where a lightning bolt struck from the sky, making a horrible crackling sound. Now, the only thing that was left after this bolt hit the floor was a strong stench of burning flesh. Now, this lightning bolt had struck Michaelis and left nothing but a goopy pile of flesh. A second bolt hit the floor, then a third, then a fourth, and a whole storm broke loose. There was a lot of wind gushing and the storm brewing all the stronger. Buildings started to break down. Pieces of the building started to fly about, and anyone that was not holding on to anything solid was basically blown around. Now, Alduoson seemed to not be affected by this storm at all, and he does also realize that it seems like his wrists are free from the bondage. He doesn't question the fact that his captors didn't know how to properly seal his wrists. Instead, he was looking for Lilia so they can escape the town. He sees her holding on to a pole at the smithy and waving towards him to come over to her. He does that, and she tells him, listen, we need to take cover, we need to go into the woods. Alduoson doesn't argue, and he runs with her towards the woods. As they are running, however, Lilia trips and falls over, injuring her ankle.
I'm a damsel. I'm in distress.
Alduoson, finally starting to panic, realizes what has been happening, all the people that has been dying, and what was he going to do? Lilia needed a healer, her ankle was hurt, and he doesn't know where to even start with anything. Now Lilia starts yelling out towards him, Alduoson. He doesn't listen to her, and he just continues to get lost in his own thoughts. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna stop this? How are we gonna make this better? And she continues, Alduoson! He looks over to her, yes, Lilia, what is it? And she says, my ankle, it's healed. He looks down to what used to be a very bruised ankle and sees that it's completely healed and doesn't have any issues to it. He's in shock to witness that she has miraculously healed completely. How is this possible? An ankle like that doesn't just bruise within mere seconds. She looks at him and she says, but it was you. You, my love, you did this. And he's confused. He doesn't understand what she's getting at.
What are you talking about?
That wasn't me. I'm no witch. I'm no mage. Why would you even say something like that? And she says, it was you, my love. You too created that storm. When that inquisitor pointed his finger towards me, that lightning bolt struck him within a breath of his accusation. Alduoson doesn't believe her, and he kind of disregards her opinion completely, to which she tells him, prove me wrong. So he is a bit curious about whether it is actually possible that he was the one that was wielding the power. So he genuinely focuses on the storm. He looks back towards where Serum is, and he focuses really hard on trying to stop the storm. Nothing happens. Now he turns back to Lilia, not being shocked in the slightest, and tells her that, see, it isn't me, I do not possess any powers at all. Lilia ignores him completely and just continues to stare straight towards Serum. To which eventually she said, but see, you have thought it to pass, and so it did. He looks back towards Serum and he sees that she was not lying. The storm, oh my god! The storm was finally starting to calm down to such a point. Oh no! No, 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 no. This. The storm was coming to pass, and the sunny skies were clearing again. Now, less able to argue against it, he does kind of start feeling like maybe it was him. Maybe he is the reason that this all had happened. He does also say, Mainland, something's wrong. I need to return back to him. So he gets this feeling of urgency where his brother is in trouble and he needs to go help him. So he wants to go back to Serum. Lilia tries to convince him otherwise, but he says, no, I can't leave my brother behind, and he continues on. Now Sarenthia and Achilleos. Achilleos, not even concerned about himself, nor concerned about Alduason. He was concerned on whether Sarenthia was okay, for he had feelings for her. Now, he knew that she had feelings for Alduason, but that didn't make him feel any less love for her. Eventually, as he was looking for her, he saw Cyrus, and just as he was about to warn Cyrus to get out of the way, one of the buildings, the roof, was basically breaking down and blowing towards Cyrus, completely squashing him, which is unfortunate. In that same moment, just before it happened, Achilleos saw Sarenthia and he tackled her out of the way so that she also doesn't get hit by that same building debris, and he saves her life. Now in that moment he does realize that he was able to stop her from viewing that, but unfortunately he saw it himself. He saw this horrible scene unfolding in front of his eyes. Sarenthia, not knowing what just happened to her father, her first words were, Alduason, where's Alduason? Is he okay? And it does kind of like hurt Achilleos' like feelings, because it's like, oh my gosh.
Are you serious?
Like, I just saved your life, and the first thing you're thinking about is Alduason, but okay. He tells her that he saw her running towards the forest, and that they need to go look for them as well. They start running towards the forest, and Achilleos, being the good huntsman that he is able to track where they were running. I still have the ability point. I'm focusing on damage reduction for now, since I do not want to die. I feel like that's a bit more important, and this is where we want to go. So they are on the tracks of Lilia and Alduason. Achilleos start noticing that Alduason's tracks is very light and almost difficult to, follow along with. It's better tracks than some of the more agile animals. He does also notice a slight He does also notice a second pair of footprints following along Alduason, to which he assumed it could only be the noble women that he also had seen in town. Now they were on the tracks of Alduason and Lilia, trying to find them, and they also saw the storm kind of calming down, but they still decided that it was more important to find out where Alduason had disappeared to. Mainland finally reaches Serum after the storm had finally calmed down, just to witness a brutal scene of multiple people who were dead, fragments of people splayed everywhere on the floor and on the buildings, and he hears this very loud voice calling out to him. Now this voice is so loud it feels like it's just beside him, but he still can't see anyone. This voice is yelling out, "Where is she? I can't find her. Where is she? Where is my daughter?" Mainland starts looking around, to which he finally sees someone standing, yelling in dismay. But it's almost as if though the moment he saw him, he realized that this person was not shouting out into the air, but shouting into his mind. This was Cyrus standing there in complete dismay. So it was a figure of Cyrus that seemed very ghostly, and his voice was echoing inside of Maitland's mind, rather than echoing in the broad daylight, rather than echoing in normal hearing, rather than echoing in the normal world. I don't know how to phrase that so it makes sense. Anyways, he sees Cyrus's body lying there all squashed and having a moment to kind of dread over it because his mentor had been, slain in such a horrific way. So it took a moment to really take in that his mentor was completely slaughtered there on the floor due to this building that collapsed on him.
My child.
In that moment, one of the surviving Inquisitors yelled out towards Maitland, You are the kin of Alderwhiston. You will come with us." So they escort Maitland towards where the rest of the villagers were being kept. And they were basically starting to question him and interrogate him. "Where's Alderwhiston? You better tell us or you're gonna get punished for it." Ugh! I hate these flesh bags. All the spiders, yo. I don't have a lot of potions left. I don't have any potions left. Okay. I'm fine still. I'm still okay. You guys will die. No. Yes.
I'm out of mana.
I don't like this. There's a f***ing ballista shooting me. I hate those ballistas. I need to stop swearing. I hate that balloony ballistas. Balloony toony ballistas.
Don't leave.
Just give me some potions. Give me some potions. I'm gonna die if you don't give me some potions. Damn. Oh, ballista. Ooh. Gosh. I'm gonna die. There's no potions. I don't want to stop the event, but the event is really not worth my life. Maybe? Okay. See, I got 2 potions there. I'm still in the event. We're in a clear. Alright. We still have this. We got this. We can do this. Huzzah! Huzzah! Okay.
I need time to prepare that.
What was I busy saying? Maitland. He is being held captive with the rest of the... Alright, so we survived and my game crashed for one small moment and I am back. I'm okay. We're quickly gonna do this dungeon so we can progress a bit in the seasonal quest so I can have my vampire powers. Maitland got caught by the surviving Inquisitors. So they started interrogating Maitland, telling him that he needed to tell them where Alderwhiston is, which obviously he didn't know. That's why he was coming to Serum, but they didn't believe him. So one of the Inquisitors threw him down on his knees and took out his whip. Now he gashed poor Maitland over his back in such a horrible way that the blood started gushing down towards his hands. Horrific scene. It was in that moment when Alderwhiston and Lilia finally caught up to Serum, and Alderwhiston saw his brother being slashed. Some of the Inquisitors saw Alderwhiston and yelled out towards him, but before they could actually even do anything, Alderwhiston yelled out towards Maitland. The Inquisitor saw Alderwhiston and almost as if though this Inquisitor wanted to purposefully arouse frustration out of Alderwhiston, he picks up his whip to gash Mendlin again, but as he picks up his whip, it was like a wind just like forced his whip into the air, and as he was struggling against it and resisting against it, this whip came down and started choking himself. He's fighting with his own whip, trying to get it off, to a point where he eventually lets go of the handle and now is struggling with both hands trying to get the whip off of him. So another Inquisitor tried to help him and assist him, but he too, when he wanted to sheath his weapon, instead of putting it into the sheath, he basically like bends it down and pushes it into his own breastplate. Another one swings his sword over towards Alduin, but the sword ricochets into one of his companion's faces. That companion falls down and his weapon falls over, tripping one of the other people, and that person falls down and cracks his skull. So this massive event of snowballing just kind of creates all of these people, like, just causes all of these people to die. Now the remaining Inquisitors that were still standing about, Alduin was thinking to himself that, what do you do with vermin? You know, on the farm you used to smoke vermin out, fry them, burn them. And as he was thinking about burning these vermin, he starts burning these Inquisitors. They start noticing that their fingers are blackening as they turn into charcoal, as they burning away into ashes. A horrible scene. The whole town people are standing there staring at him. Every one of his loved ones, even the ones that had believed in him, now looking at him as if though he was this monster. He yells out towards Mendlin, picks him up, we need to leave now. Mendlin doesn't question it, and he and Lilia follows Alduin back towards the woods. Now it was in that area when they came into the woods, Achilleos and Cerinthia came from the opposite sides, and it was like this instant like understanding, like we need to get out. Mendlin calls out and says there's horses on its way, as the horses are fleeing about the horrible scene. All 5 of these people try to grab a hold of a horse, to which they only managed to grab a hold of 4 of the horses. Cerinthia wanted to offer that Alduin and she should share a horse, but before she could actually say that, Lilia kind of like intercepted and said, you and I will take a horse, the rest can take a horse themselves. And before Cerinthia can actually object towards it, Alduin is just like, oh, no problem, let's go. They get onto their horses and they leave Serum. So Alduin and his group of loved ones are fleeing out of Serum on horses. I quickly want to flash back to the Temple of the Triune. So back when both acolytes were found dead, both the Cathedral of Light and the Temple of Triune was notified. It was only the Cathedral of Light that sent their Inquisitors a lot faster. So the Temple of the Triune, they basically worship 3 spiritual beings called Diablo, Bala, and Mephis. Alright, so in the temple itself, there are these 3 statues also representing these spiritual figures, to which Bala's statue has a big hammer as well as a bag of seeds in his hands to symbolize humanity's architectural and nature triumphs. Dialon had the tablets of orders in his hand, and he symbolized the purpose of humanity. And then Mephis, he didn't have anything in his hands, but he was curling his hands as if though he was holding something delicate, as like an infant. Ugh. These boars are stupid, yo! And Mephis basically symbolized love and determination and stuff like that. So that's what the Temple of the Triune stood for. Now when they found word about their acolyte that was dead, the news reached their prime, which was called Lucian. Now Lucian was like the head of the Temple of the Triune, and it was up to him to make the decisions as to how to go about this whole situation. He ordered one of his most trusted peace warders, Malkin, Malik, along with some of his other guardsmen, to go out and search for this Alduin that is responsible for their brother's death. Now, He didn't want them to stand a trial the same way Mycleus wanted to do. He wanted them to bring Alduisin back to him. He was intrigued by this Alduisin and the power that he held, and he wanted to meet him. So he sent Malik out with his guardsmen to find Alduisin and bring them back to the Temple of the Triune. Alright, so that's where I'm gonna end this episode for now. Alduisin and his team just escaped Serum, and they're kind of like beginning their new journey into the world. And the Temple of the Triune sent out their Peace Warders to search for them. When I come back to the game, I'll also do the class-specific dungeons so I can have some goody powers for my sorcerer. And we'll continue on with the seasonal build. I haven't died yet, so that's good. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next episode, and obviously, may the odds forever favor you.